So that's the Premier League predictions. Starting with your top goal scorer.
Go on, Ollie. I'll let you go first.
Going Erling Haaland for me. I just think he will be back to his best. We saw last season, the first half of the season, he was just unplayable, always in the right place at the right time. I feel like he actually added a bit more in terms of variety of goals as well. I think like his first season where he like destroyed the league, he was very much just like right place, right time. I actually think the start of last season, we saw him add a bit more in terms of like shooting from range and stuff. But I just think City back to their best with all the attacking players around him. I just can't see it not being Haaland.
Yeah, I've also gone Haaland. You just can't bet against him. I do think it depends what City we see. I think City at the start of last season were very good. Obviously, Rodri then tore his ACL and was out for the rest of the season. So it depends. But like I said, I can't bet against him. The guy's a goal machine every time he's in front of goal. I think Gyökeres might have a shout. Right. I think he scores a lot.
Sure.
No, yeah, obviously. Look, I watched him in the flesh a couple of days ago. I think this guy is just a goal machine as well. I think he loves scoring goals. He's desperate to score goals. He will get chances, and I think the players provide him for him. You know, if Odegaard can find his form, Saka, we saw last season he was top assist until he got injured. If Martinelli can find that form as well, there's obviously other players like Declan Rice, Zubimendi that can provide for him as well. I think he'll score a lot of goals in that team. But yeah, I've gone with Haaland.
Yeah, I'm interested about Gyökeres. I think like it might take a little bit of time to adjust because you haven't had like an out and out number 9 goal scorer for ages.
Yeah.
So I think he'll find the back of the net a few times. But yeah, I can't see past Haaland.
Isak as well, if he goes to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because top 3 last season, obviously Salah I think scored 29, Isak was 23, Haaland was 22.
Yeah.
So he outscored Haaland last season playing for Newcastle. If he goes to Liverpool with how fluid their attack is, I think that changes the story. But as it stands, obviously Isak's still at Newcastle, so yeah, Haaland for us both.
No mention for Salah.
So if you want to move on to assists,
Okay, let's go for players with no assists.
mine is Mohamed Salah. So watching pre-season, I just can see his goal is to set up the players around him. I think, you know, he will always be at, like in the right positions to get the goals. Like the goal he scored against Bilbao, Ekitike played this ball where he just sort of played it into the right area and Salah was there to finish it. So he'll still get goals this season. But I really think he's going to change his power towards assists this season and setting up the players around him. And yeah, he's through pre-season and even last season we saw it as well. He was playing some deadly through balls. Like his eye for a through ball is honestly one of the best in the league, in my opinion. So I really think this season he's just going to turn provider, setting up Ekitike, Isak if he comes, Wirtz, Gattuso. Good, exciting season for Salah for sure.
Yeah, I see that. I haven't actually agreed.
Okay.
I've gone for Martin Odegaard. Reason. All right, boys. Still, how many? All right. Do you know how many assists he got last season in the league?
8.
Got 8 assists in the league, and he was out for over 3 months. Right, had the worst injury of his career. Came back, was in terrible form. Still got 8 assists. So look, having him fit from. This is obviously if they stay fit the whole season, right? Best case. Having a proper number 9 in front of him, Saka back on the right. I don't know. Maybe it's a stretch. I just think if we can keep him in that creative position with a double pivot like we've seen behind him in terms of Zubimendi and Rice, he's not going to have to come back and pick up the ball as much. Keep him in those forward positions. I just think there's going to be so many chances to provide Gyökeres, to provide Saka, Martinelli or whoever's on the left, Madueke or even Eze if we bring him in. I think he's going to create a lot of chances. I think he's got a shout. I think, look, the sensible option, I think, is to choose Salah. It was Salah last year. I'm going to back my guy.
Yeah.
I'm going for Martin.
I'm not seeing it with Odegaard. I think, like, don't get me wrong, if he has his best season, I think he will always be in the pass before the pass. So he'll pass to Saka, who might provide. I just don't know if I particularly see him, like, in the right positions to create those through balls to Gyökeres.
He got 8 last year.
Yeah, but that's
Kai Havertz was injured most of the season. Gabriel Jesus came in for a bit and then was injured. So, I mean, he has Mikel Merino up front for a lot of the season. I don't know. I'm not going to write him off.
Yeah. Also, the pass is to Saka as well. I mean, he could pass to Saka and get an assist from a wonder goal. So I just don't see it with Odegaard this season. But it's a big season for him. So if you're right, then he's had the season that you're hoping for as an Arsenal fan. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Interesting picks. Biggest surprise? Christian, we'll start with you.
My surprise is Manchester United. I think they've done good business. No, I really, really do. Go back a month, 6 weeks, they're nowhere near this for me. I think they're in a terrible place. I think, players don't want to join them. They finished 15th. They just looked in a terrible place. They're sacking, staff all over the club, cutting costs, all of this stuff. Their roof's leaking. Now I look at it, they've built a new training ground. The business they've done since that, I think, has been very, very good. I think bringing in Burma on the right, who scored 20 Premier League goals last season. You can question the price tag, £71 million, maybe a bit too much. But as a fan, as a rival fan, why does money care? We don't care about money. If the guy comes in and does the job, the money doesn't matter. So I think Burma is a good sign. I think Cunha is a good signing. I just look at that front three now with Sesko then in the middle and think it's dangerous.
Do you really rate Sesko that highly?
Well, I don't know, but
but that's exactly the problem for me. It's like he is a bit of an unknown quantity.
I just think he's going to be an upgrade on Xerxes and Højlund, at least, especially with those two players alongside him. He scored 13 Bundesliga goals, which isn't necessarily the best. But he wasn't necessarily playing for the best team either. And United aren't that. But with Bruno Fernandes, the provider and the way he can pass a ball, if you bring in a guy like Baleba, who they're linked to as well, you put a Mainu in there or a Mount, or there's other options for United as well. Sesko becomes a focal point. Maybe he's not the goal scorer necessarily. Maybe he's the guy who holds it up for Mbeumo to run off him or for Cunha to run. Because Cunha loves getting in those central positions as well. I don't know. I just think... I don't think they're as bad as people are saying, and I don't think they'll be anywhere near 15th again. I even think their defence. I think the defence is decent. I think having Dalot and Mazraoui as right-back options. I look at centre-back options of De Ligt if he can get back to anywhere near the levels we've seen him at previously. Lenny Yoro, I think, is a very good player. Aidan Heaven was good business from Arsenal. Buying him from Arsenal. Left back, Dorgu looks like a good player. Luke Shaw, if he can stay fit. The goalkeeper's obviously a problem. I don't know. I just see a good squad, and I feel like they could surprise. I feel like they'll challenge for top 8 at least, maybe even top 6.
We're talking about Man United here, challenging for top 8.
No, but we're talking about Man United, but we're not talking about the Man United. We're talking about Man United that finished 15th and whimpered out in a Europa League final against Spurs. So. Yeah, I feel like they'll be a lot better this season.
In my opinion, I get what you're saying about they've done good business. I feel like they've got these sort of square pegs and round holes a bit. Like Cunha and Mbeumo both independently had great seasons last year, but like playing them together, I just don't know if it's going to work. And also, I was reading something about the kind of strikers they work best with. Sesko might suit Mbeumo, but not Cunha. Like he's not like any striker that Cunha's played with before. So I just think it's like the typical thing with Man United. You're buying names or you're buying player names that have done well in the past seasons, but do they work with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve?
I see what you mean, but has it always been Premier League proven names? Because I look at Anthony, didn't come from the league. I look at Sancho, didn't come from the league.
Yeah.
I look at Who else they signed? These guys have done it in the league. Let me get my notes out. But these guys have done it in the league.
Yeah, Højlund.
Which is, Højlund, Xerxes. There's obviously other players. But, I don't know. There's something about when you're Premier League proven as an attacker.
Yeah, for sure.
Where I think it's like you've played against all these defences before. You have the pace, you have the flair, you have the technical ability to score goals, to get in positions in this league against top defenders. And Mbeumo scored 20 goals for Brentford last season. I think he can do that again.
Yeah.
I think he can get at least 15 if they provide for him right. If Sesko's there to hold up the ball and give it to him in the right positions. Look, Cunha was doing it for Wolves, who were, fighting relegation for the first half of the season. I don't know. Like I said, I see positives at United. But who's your surprise?
So my surprise, and I think it will surprise both of you. I've gone for Brentford. Now, people are talking about Brentford and saying they're going to go down. They're going to be in a relegation battle. In my opinion, they are far too smart a club to allow that to happen. Like, the fact that Thomas Frank has gone is a huge loss. I don't think it can be overstated. And obviously, they have lost some key players as well. And Mbuemo's gone. Norgard's gone, who was their captain, right?
Yeah.
And also, Wissa looks like he might be going as well. But I just think they're such a smartly run club that, okay, this season might be a bit tricky. They might be in a fight, but I think they're smart enough to know that to not take a big risk like that and for it not to pay off. You think of Benham, isn't it? Their owner. I think he's too smart to have just appointed Keith Andrews and not think that he's the right option for them.
Big risk. It's a big risk.
It is an enormous risk, but they were always going to have this with Thomas Frank going. Like, at some point, a bigger club is going to snap him up because I think he's a great manager.
Yeah, he is.
But I just think that maybe they've played the odds a bit. They've seen, like, last few years, the relegated teams have gone straight back down, and they thought, we can take a risk on this guy. We think he's going to be really good. We've sold these players for a lot of money. Reinvest that in the squad in the last month of the transfer window. I think they'll be fine, and I think they'll be a Premier League team for a long time. Genuinely.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily with Brentford. I do look at the big names going and think it might cause some trouble.
But about that, right? So that's exactly what people have been saying, but they've done that before. They had Ollie Watkins,
but losing Thomas Frank as well. Losing the players and the manager, I think
that's the one. Yeah.
I don't think anyone can really predict it.
Yeah,
I think we've got to see them. Yeah, we've got to see them play some games in the league first, and then say
for
that.
Sure. But in my opinion, they're just too smart of a club to allow themselves to go down.
Yeah,
out of fight at least.
Palace was going to be up there for surprise, but it looks like they're also going to lose Gehi and Eze, which is such a shame because what they've done for Glasner to come in off the back of winning the Europa League with Frankfurt, to then take them to win an FA Cup, the first trophy in their history.
Incredible.
They're on to yesterday winning the Community Shield against Liverpool. They're just a very good team. Like Munoz, our right back, was their player of the season. Tyrick Mitchell at left back, quality. Gehi, we know about.
Yeah.
Henderson in goal. He was a good keeper before, but now a very, very good keeper. There's just players all through that team. Eze, what he's done with Mateta. Mateta was a little bit of a joke player when he came in. Now Mateta's like a serious centre forward. Sarr in that team.
Yeah.
Adam Wharton. There's quality throughout the team. It just looks like it might get ripped apart quite quickly.
I think they'll be all right as long as they keep Glasner. I think he's a smart enough manager to kind of keep them steady. And then hopefully if they sell Eze for a decent chunk of money, maybe a few other players next summer, they can reinvest and go again. But I think he's a key part because you've seen them before with average managers and they've kind of dropped like a stone. Yeah. So now they've got a decent level manager in. I think they should be fine for the time being.
Yeah.
And biggest disappointment?
Yeah, I've got one.
Go on then.
Go on, is it?
It's not going to rattle you too much, but Nottingham Forest for me. So I've been on this wave with them. Last year, they so overperformed. They looking at the XG table or expected points, they were 13th. They were 13th on expected points. They massively overperformed what they should have done. And say what you like about expected points, but at some point it does level out. This season with European football as well, now they're in the Europa League, so it's potentially even harder. I just think they're going to really struggle. And to tag on to this as well, Chris Wood, again, massively overperformed last season. I think without Alanga there, I see him struggling. I just think he won't be a top level, well, not top level striker, but he won't be able to find the back of the net as much as he did last season. So, yeah, for me, Nottingham Forest, I honestly think, I don't think they'll be in a relegation fight, but I reckon they'll be solidly bottom half of the table.
Do you think European football will take quite a...
Yeah, I think it'll take its toll for sure. Like, okay, they have a deep squad for sure, but is there the players beneath their first 11 really like difference makers for them? Like, I don't put them as like firm favourites for the Europa League or anything. Like,
I think they would have been all right in the Conference League, where you can rest players against these teams.
Yeah.
Great. But Europa League, you're facing top level opposition every week in, week out. it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. And yeah, I just see things leveling out with them and probably finishing, anywhere from like 12th to 15th, 16th.
Yeah,
Very
no,
average season.
I could see that happening. Also, Gibbs White with the whole situation of wanting to leave and
This is hard, really.
Marinakis and is his head going to be in the game kind of thing? Who knows, man? Yeah, that's a bit of an unknown one as well. I don't know if Chris Wood, at his age, scores as many goals as he does last year, especially like you say without Elanga. I like Hudson-Odoi as well. I think he's a good player on the left. But yeah, having Europe is going to be very tough. My disappointment, I don't know about this one, but just my feeling is I kind of went for Phil Foden and Manchester City.
Okay.
Look, City could just turn up. You know what? This is Pep Guardiola we're talking about. Probably either the best or second best Premier League manager of all time, or manager of all time. So if there's one manager that could just turn it on and get a team to perform for an entire season, it's him. But I look around that team and I see they've got a new goalkeeper now in Trafford. Maybe comes in and is great. Maybe there's a lot of pressure on him. He's going to have a lot to do, especially with his feet. Can he kind of ping those passes that Ederson used to? I don't even know if he starts. Maybe Ederson starts the
I
season.
don't think he does start.
Right back is still a problem for them. They're going to start. Looks like they're going to start the season with Matheus Nunes at a right back. Centre backs, I think, are very good. Diaz and Gvardio is probably going to play left centre back now. I think is a very good partnership. I think Nori's good business from bringing in from Wolves as well. But then I kind of look at the midfield and attack, and I'm like, I don't really know what their best team is. There's question marks. Rodri now is injured again, so he's going to miss a big part of the start of the season, which we know how it affected them last season. Reinders coming in, good player. I really rate the guy, but can he fill that Rodri role? It looks like they're going to move on Nico Gonzalez, who they only just signed in January. Cherky come in, again, looks like a quality player, but he's young. Is he going to fit straight into the league? Phil Foden, from PFA Player of the Season to what he was last year, just fell off a cliff. I haven't even seen him, Club World Cup, I didn't see him anywhere near back to what he is. He was obviously had injury problems as well. Can he get back to it? Haaland will score goals. Doku I really rate as a player, and I think we'll get a lot of minutes, but his problem is end product.
Yeah.
You know, the guy, in terms of taking on a player, beating the man, getting into the box and putting a ball in, quality.
Yeah, one of the best.
But in terms of final ball, in terms of actually putting it on someone's head or someone's foot or finding the back of the net, one of the worst, which is crazy. For a player whose output in the first part is so good, the output in the main part is terrible.
Crazy.
But then again, that's where I'm like, this is Pep Guardiola. If there is a manager that could get it out of a player, it's him.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Doku just goes mental next season and Foden gets back to the level. It's a bit unknown, but because there's so many questions, City are my disappointment.
Makes sense. Let's go to best signing of the season.
This is where I think it might be a bit controversial as well.
It's unlike you.
And I think he's gone under the radar a little bit, and I don't really know why. I think maybe because we knew it was happening from a long time ago. There was links in January, and we knew he was coming into the club. So the buzz kind of died down. But Martin Zubimendi,
Okay.
I think Arsenal signing this guy has gone so under the radar. We know how desperate Liverpool were to sign him. Real Madrid tried to hijack this deal at the last minute. Barcelona were interested. Loads of big clubs around Europe. But he chose Arsenal. He wanted to come to Arsenal, wanted to play for Mikel Arteta. As much as rival fans might not want to hear it, it's the truth. Which is actually a theme. There are a lot of players that want to play for Mikel Arteta before people start slating. We saw Gyökeres fought his way to Arsenal. There's other big clubs that obviously wanted him. Wanted to play for Arsenal, wanted to play for Mikel Arteta. Declan Rice, Man City wanted to sign him, wanted to play for Arsenal, Mikel Arteta. So as much as you want to talk about second again and no trophies, there are players that see this project as a top project and want to play for this team. And Zubimendi is one of them. And I think what I've seen in pre-season, because I was never sold, weirdly, on Zubimendi.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen him enough. There were times in the Europa League against United and where I've seen him and been like, I'm not convinced necessarily. But there were times for Spain that he came on in the Euros final against England for Spain and was quality.
Really good, yeah.
So obviously there was a top player there, but since I've seen him at Arsenal so far, he's impressed me.
Yeah.
Especially in the game against Bilbao, like he was the best player on the pitch by far. And I think he unlocks Declan Rice as well. Like, I thought he was coming in to be a 6 and sit, and Declan Rice would be the 8, getting back and forward, but it's not. It looks like it's going to be a double pivot. You know, when he gets forward, Declan Rice drops back. We saw Rice dropping between the centre backs against Bilbao and in other games. Mendy obviously getting the assist for Gyökeres's goal, but this guy just on the ball, his technical ability, winning the ball back. He loves a duel. We saw him getting an assist, so he can provide in that sense as well. He's just cool as well. We saw him take a penalty just like it was nothing.
Very Spanish in that way.
Yeah, very Spanish. Just real cultured player. And I think he's going to be very, very good for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think, obviously I'm coming at this from a Liverpool fan's point of view, and we almost sort of signed him last summer. But one of his biggest assets is, like, you think for a defensive player, like a player that's traditionally, in front of the defence, that you wouldn't be attacking minded. But he is always thinking of that forward pass and how he can, like, punch the ball through.
Yeah.
I think that will be such a big asset to you guys in terms of progressing the ball up the field quickly. Yeah. If he can find that pass to Ødegaard, who can then quickly play it off, that's going to be a deadly weapon for you guys. So, yeah, I think it was excellent business for Arsenal, and I could definitely see him being one of the better signings of the season.
Who have you gone for? Best transfer?
So, I'm gonna say Florian Wirtz, obviously, but I thought that was a bit too obvious, so I'm gonna go for another one. I actually think Delap might be a really good signing for Chelsea. Obviously, he's really young, which is like their kind of sort of signing criteria. But he's got so much talent. Like, we saw it for Ipswich last season. He can play with his back to goal. He knows how to score as well. So I think, even though we might not see him like starting week in, week out for Chelsea, I think at the price, 30 million or something, that is excellent business for them. And if he does find form and gradually sort of progress in the team, you could be looking at a striker for the next 6-7 years. Yeah. I really think he's like good. Came from the City Academy as well, so he's going to fit in with Marasca's system. So yeah, a bit of an under the radar one, but I think for the price, that is an excellent deal.
I agree. No, I think really good player. I think he scored 2 goals yesterday against AC Milan. Looked really good. João Pedro coming in is the only thing. It's like, do they rotate? Does Delap get a run in the team? I don't really know how that works, but yeah, I really rate him as a player.
Yeah, I think he'll be really good.
Good choices. And then finally, our final category, transfer flop of the season. Christian, take the honours.
Yeah, you've inspired me on this. By the way, people watching, Fred, producer, is a big West Ham fan. So we've obviously had a lot of chats about Mohamed Kudus. And yeah, you just, from watching him myself, kind of who he was 2 years ago, the player he was, to who he was last season, just kind of fell off a cliff. I think his creativity was really affected in that team. Maybe where he plays has been affecting that as well, because him and Bowen kind of have to fill one position between 2 players. But now it looks like Spurs might be bringing in Savinho. So it's like, is that going to do the same thing? Yeah, I've got questions about Kudus. I don't want to label him as who I think is a flop, but there's questions for sure.
Yeah, I think also like he can lose his head really easily, and then are you getting a man sent off? Yeah, the
fight against Spurs last season.
Yeah, true.
So it's getting banned. So
yeah, exactly. Like, you just don't want that kind of behaviour in your team, do you? I personally think he could be really good for Spurs.
There's a top player in there, 100%. Yeah. I really like him as a player.
You don't want to sort of like give a player a tag like this, but it is just his attitude. Like, if things go bad, is his head gonna go, and he's just not gonna be bothered? Like, and who knows with Spurs next season, they might not have a great season.
I think if he's in a good team, he will perform to his best, and you'll see the best of him. But when he's in a team that's struggling, and let's be honest, West Ham weren't too different to Spurs last season.
Yeah.
If it's a similar season, then I think we'll see the same thing from Kudus. He'll feel disinterested, and it could end up being a bit of a waste.
Where would you have liked to have seen him go? Like, what team do you think he would have suited?
Oh, one of the top ones.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking that he's a top-class player. He was Ajax, he's one of their best players, and we managed to bring him to the Premier League. He was always going to use us as a stepping stone, but ultimately he needs a big team to get the best out of him. And I don't think Spurs is right.
Oh, it depends how good they are. It depends if Fran takes them back to Europa League territory, do you know what I mean, fighting for the Champions League, which doesn't look likely based on their season last year. But who knows? He's going to be playing in the Champions League.
Yeah,
which maybe will kind of boost the confidence and ego and morale of the entire team, in a good way, kind of galvanise the squad. So, yeah, it's a bit unknown. Who's your flop?
So, basically, going off what you said earlier, I've gone for Ryan Cherky. Now, I just think that if you look at the kind of player he is, he's a bit of that kind of maverick attacking player. And I just think there's going to be a clash of personalities between him and Pep. Like, exactly what you said about Doku. We've seen, like, Pep has trained the sort of flair out of these players. Grealish is another one, like a player that was so like known for taking on men, winning the fouls, all of this stuff. I just feel like Pep might kind of coach that out of him. And is he like a De Bruyne level attacking player where Pep can just be like, look, you just go and do your thing, like find Haaland essentially and score. I just don't know if I necessarily see it. Fair enough, it's a good weapon to have, like in terms of mixing up the squad, Champions League games, playing difficult opponents in the league. But I just think the clash of personalities between Pep and a maverick player like that, like we've seen, he let Palmer go. Okay, he might not have known how good Palmer was potentially going to be. But does a Palmer suit Manchester City in the way they play? And I would put Cherky in the mould of a Palmer, of a maverick attacking player. Yeah, it all depends on how City do next season. Like you said, if City are the best they've been, then he's going to be great. He's going to be passing it to Haaland, getting however many assists. But I'm just not totally convinced that it will work. Great player, just don't know if it will work.